All right, good morning, grade 7 and 8s. Welcome back. Yesterday we did our lesson on Introduction to Coordinate Systems. And as I understand it, it's going very well for people. People are almost done this booklet. And so we're going to continue with our lesson on translations today. So the first half of your next booklet is called Translations at the top. And after that, partway through the booklet, we switch into reflections. Depending on how well we are working with translations, I'll do that lesson tomorrow. The first and most important thing that I need to make clear, translation has nothing to do with language or changing language. When we talk about translations in math, we are talking about moving things from one place to another place, often on a Cartesian plane or a grid. So some recaps, we have our y-axis and our x-axis. These do not change. At the center of the y and the x-axis, we have 0, 0. And we're going to put a point on our grid. And this point here, if I'm using my proper terminology, will be 2, 1. Well, that's much better. I'm using a mouse instead of just my touchpad. So this is 2, 1 because we always say the x-axis first. And when it comes to translations, we also want to label points on a grid. It will keep things very organized, keep us on track so that we don't lose our place or get confused. We don't want to use any numbers because the numbers denote where it is on the grid or the Cartesian plane. So here we have point A. Great. So now I'm going to move point A. And this is really all translation is. All we're worried about is that we do it properly. I'm going to put translation for the translation for A here. All right, so that's my new place for A. Here's what I need to make sure I do. This new point is not going to be called B or point 2. Instead, we're going to call it A, and you're going to have to pardon me, but here down low, kind of like beneath the letter a little bit, you're going to put a little 1. A1. So that tells me that A has moved here. This is where it started. This is where it ended up. A to A1. Okay. All I'm going to tell you now is first and foremost, where is A1? Where's the translation for A? So if this was 2, 3, 4, 5 is my first coordinate. Okay, well, maybe the mouse doesn't make it that much neater. I'm going to try that again. 5. And then it's also 3 up. Right. So this is A, and this is A1, the translation of A. You will be asked, hey, how did I get from A to A1? You're just counting, and you have to write it very clearly. I moved 1, 2, 3 to the right, and 1, 2 up. 3 to the right, and 2 up. Great. Depending on whether or not you've written this down, you may want to say where you started. I started at 2, 1. I moved 3 to the right, 2 up. Okay, that's literally it when it comes to translation and how to describe a translation properly. So the first 2 questions on your first page will be doing that. You have the original point A, then it will tell you where things have moved or how do you get from A to B. Oh, well, I moved from here to here. Then it starts giving you shapes. Now the shapes in question 3 on the front page are a little bit faded, but you should have a rectangle, a triangle, and a parallelogram. If not, I encourage you just to use a rectangle and follow the instructions because it just says move the shape 3 units down, starting with the point. And then we're going to deal exclusively with shapes. And this is the big idea when it comes to translations in terms of how do I use this in the real world. Let's say, for instance, you have a yard and you're only allowed to put your pool in certain places in your yard because you need a certain amount of space between your pool and your house and your pool and your fence. All of a sudden, you need to move everything. This is how we talk about moving it. This is how people plan moving it. You don't just pick it up and willy-nilly throw it somewhere. Let's say I have a pool and it's a rectangle. I'm going to try a better rectangle than that. No, I won't. Yes, I will. No, I won't. Yes, I will. Here is my pool. I need to make sure that I label my points still for when I want to move it. And most of the time, I only have to really think about one point. So I'm going to pick this point here, and this is point A. I know that I need to move point A down to here. Let's say I needed to move it, let's see, down 3 and to the right 3. Okay. So if I do that and this becomes A1, I need to make sure that this shape is the exact same when I move it to its new location. And I'm not always going to have a smart board or a tablet. If I only have graph paper, which you do in your homework package, then my points, if that moved down 3 and to the right 3, then this one moves down 3 to the right 3. If that point moved down 3 to the right 3, then this point moves down 3 to the right 3, and so on. And the test is that your points have moved. You don't need to worry about moving whole lines, so long as your points / your vertices, if you remember that term, have all moved the same amount. That is a translation. You're not stretching it, you're not rotating it. This exact shape has moved down 3 to the right 3. And whether you've got a cool tool like I do, or if you've got just pencil, you should be able to draw the exact shape and check for me. Did I move it down 3 to the right 3? And this can be for complex shapes. This could be for circles even. As long as you are picking a point on the graph and you are moving that point the exact amount that you've been asked to, you will come up with the same shape where it belongs in the future. So that's all we really have for translations. Next class is going to be about reflection. Reflection is based off of this. And as soon as that is done and taken care of, then we're going to have to split, where the grade 8s are going to have something different than the grade 7s. So grade 8s, if you're watching this, please make sure you are doing your work, trying your best to keep up, and making sure that you're attending all your meetings to ask questions, because there won't be as many lessons posted online. These ones will be something that we're going to do in a grade 8 only meeting. That's going to be it for our lesson on translations. Hope to see you guys in a meeting later today. See ya.